In this video, we're going to talk about everything to do with where the origin of certain things come from. Okay, because everyone knows right now in Australia, we hear the common phrase of buy an owner occupied property. It's the Australian dream to own their own home. Okay, and a lot of people think that it's a society norm. You look at your friends, your family, everyone else in society. You look at the stages of life that people go through from school to uni to getting married to buying their own home. And look, let's be completely honest. These people are getting these okay jobs or middle income earners in households, and then they're going out and buying these houses at a million, 1.2, 1.3, 1.4, mortgages up to their eyeballs on owner occupied, Dad. And what do a lot of the people in their life do? They come to them and they pat themselves on the back and say, you've done so well, you've stretched so hard, you've done so well. It's an asset, right? It's the Australian dream. You've now achieved it. But in reality, all you've really done is locked yourself into a servitude of work and working till you die as a tax slave. Let's be completely honest. So let's go back to this the post that I've just put up on LinkedIn and talk about it. So this is one of the marketing leaflets that they sent out and they'd handed out to a lot of the lower class workers in the British settlements. All right, so let's read it out. His future is in your hands with a little baby, and take him to Australia. You can go to Australia as a family under the assisted packages scheme. Adults pay £10. Okay, and what did they call them? They called them £10 POMS. So let's read out the post and then just talk about it. All right, so we're going to read out the post now. £10 POMS. Coming to Australia for the dream of a good life and to own a home. 70 to 80 years later, people forget that this was a simple marketing campaign. When one wage could afford a home, when there were plenty of jobs, when it was common to stay in one company for your whole life, going up the ranks. Times change. Don't allow society, your friends and family to push you down a path of working tax slave for life, giving your best years for someone else, always looking back and thinking, what if? There is another way. Always remember, if you do what everyone else does, you will get the same results that everyone else gets. All right, so let's talk about this. All right, we're talking about what was a marketing campaign in the 40s, the 50s, and it stopped around the late 50s to get a lot of people in. Now, what do we see in workplaces right now? I'm going to talk a little bit about my father. I'm not going to be too specific, but we're going to use him as an example. He was part of the middle management crunch. Now, everyone that knows about that knows what happened in the 80s and 90s and early 2000s. A different management style came in where essentially instead of having a broad base of middle managers, okay, you saw companies, and I'll give you an example, Telstra, because my father worked in the telco business. He didn't work for Telstra, but it was one of their competitors. So I'll just use Telstra as an example. In the late 80s and 90s, he's on pay ranges starting at 80, directly out of university, getting up towards the 120 to the 140 range. He's got a car, and they're working him to the bone, but he's getting a lot of benefits. He gets to use the car whenever he wants. But it's very much you're a salary man. We get to make you work as many hours as possible. So you're not doing 40 hours a week. It was very common seeing my father back then, middle of a soccer game, he gets a call and suddenly he's not there. Probably at least 3 to 4 nights a week he's not there for an early dinner. Most of the time he's sneaking in somewhere between like 6 to 8 o'clock, and there's many times that he either got told that he's got to go overseas and run an overseas team, and it was just pretty much par for the course. Now let's look at that role right now. So we're talking about a role that's over 25 years in the past, and that particular person My dad actually had a colleague that stayed and he didn't really go up much higher. And essentially, what happened was they doubled his workload over the period, and then they squeezed it. So when they reduced all the managers, he ended up getting 50 to 100 reports under him. All right, so he's getting all this extra stress, all this extra time, all this extra workload, and I'm pretty sure he didn't get over 200 grand for that job. All right, so we're seeing all of the, right now we're seeing salaries not going up. Okay, you're seeing inflation run rampant. You're going up to the shops. You're going up to you just get your lettuce, your vegetables, and things like that, and everything's gone up between 20 to 40%, which essentially is reducing your wages. And then not just that, in Australia, you've got all these industries where inflation's actually gone ahead of where the wages are right now. And then if you look in Sydney in particular, unless you're, let's say both people in a marriage is on either 150 or 200. So households are 3 to 400,000. You can't even get into my parents' suburb right now for less than probably $2 million for a red brick teardown. Okay, and if you're putting a 20% deposit down on that, that's a 1.6 mil mortgage at these rates. Even at a 300k income, after taxes and all costs, and let's say you have 1 or 2 kids, you pretty much paycheck to paycheck. And even if you're on 400 grand a year as a household, you're pretty much locked into your job. You can't make any moves. You can't do a whole lot of investment, and you're going to be paying that sucker off until you're, let's say, 50 at best, 60 at worst. Okay, and you've just barely doing your 10.5% in super and hoping that that's going to be enough for your lifestyle, when we all know that there's studies shown that the average of people's super covers about 7 to 10 years worth of the same lifestyle that they had while working. And if you do a 50% cut to your lifestyle, it pretty much doubles to about 20 to 25 years of super covers you. All right, so you're in a system that's rigged against you. You're in a system where all your friends and family are doing the things that are opposite to what's best for you. And then you have to go ahead and look at yourself and then figure out what are the rich people doing. So there's a subset of these rich people. Some are just born with a silver spoon, so we don't want to look at those people. We don't want to be looking at the high income earners, because high income earners, if you see, and I watch a lot of Chris Gray, Your Empire, he's a buyer's agent, and he talks about the Deloitte. He used to work in an accounting firm, and he used to talk to all these high level partners, and all he would see is by the time that they get to 45 or 50 and they finally make partner and they're on good money, their lifestyle has gone up so much that they can barely do anything, and they're running around scared every year that they're going to lose their job because they're not going to be able to replace it. And the lifestyle has crept up to them, and then they don't have the results that you want in life because they don't have freedom. They get to partner level, and then they've gone from 50 hours a week to 65 to 70 hours a week. You've got to be doing that in these kind of firms. It's the lifestyle. And yeah, the income is high, but you're locked in for life. And the money's there, but you don't have enough time to spend that money or do anything. You're essentially enslaved yourself for life. So do you want those kind of outcomes? The answer is no. So there's this... I find that the people that I deal with that have the best kind of attitude to unlock themselves from life and the lies that have been told to them in life are those kind of families that are on 2, 3, maybe 350 grand incomes, because they see it very early that they're just not going to get the outcomes that they want in life. And then you see the best ones that I've seen. And look, you can use me as an example. All of my debt is deductible debt, investment debt. Okay, I've fully offset my owner-occupied mortgage. I did choose to live in one of my investment properties, and I converted it to owner-occupied. But I may be doing a move to the east of Brisbane soon, and there's a very good chance that I'm going to be rent vesting. And if I'm not, I'll have probably a 3-year program to pay off my owner-occupied, or at least fully offset it, so all my debt is fully deductible. All right, so we've got to look at what these people are doing that actually unlock themselves, because you've got these people that I've seen go from zero to, say, let's say somewhere between 6 to 12 properties, and you just see the outcomes that they've generated in their lives. All right. We've got multiple people on our books right now that started doing houses and grannies and now are on the micro apartments. We've got some clients that are upwards of 8 to 10, fully. They've got enough sites for the next year, and they've already left their current jobs, and right now they've already gone to income replacement. And when I look at these clients, they're like right now on our books. Interest rates have gone up. So it used to be about 120 that were fully income replaced. Now we've got about, say, 70, give or take. And when I look at the subset of people, I see people that are action takers. And not just that, they were willing to sit down, see a plan that we had written out, and know that that plan is not these kind of 8, 10, 15-year plans. A lot of these people wanted out of their job within 3 to 5 years, and then wanted a guideline on how to get there. Okay, large amounts of them were sitting on 3, 5, 7, 800 grand worth of owner-occupied equity that we could tap, sitting on large cash balances that they weren't doing anything. Some of them had dabbled into shares or ETFs and weren't getting anywhere, and then just realized that the kind of approach that we take to property investment and how low risk we take when we're going through a progression plan is the type of thing that they want to do. All right, it's gone are the days that you can just be going out there and buying 3 to 5 apartments in Bondi Junction or Bondi at $1 million and be negative gearing, because if you were any of these guys that were negative gearing and you didn't have 500 plus grand or $1 million buffers coming into 12 rate increases, you're seeing huge amounts of money come out of your pocket. And if you can't survive between the time that you lodge your tax return and the next one, then you're pretty much dead. So I don't like that style of investing. But at the end of the day, if you're a super high income earner that thinks that they like their job and want to work for the rest of their lives because they're happy and they just want the tax system to work with them, which is great, with an area that has historically high long-term growth and scarcity of property, then great strategy, because it's actually aligned to the person's goals. But then you go ahead and you talk with a client. Well, most of our clients are not that. They just want options in life, whether or not it's almost straight away, or they just want to be getting on a progression plan that they're not relying on their super at the time of retirement. So yeah, this video is just a big challenge to how people think, societal norms, and if you keep on doing what everyone else does, you're going to get the same results that everyone else gets. And you've got to look at the people that have unlocked themselves. So I could say I'm one of them. And I've essentially done everything in the wrong order to life that people, my friends, my family, everyone else that I've seen, my colleagues, and society tells me to do. I've pretty much done it in the opposite direction. And I'm getting outcomes in life that people, around me are not getting at my age. I could retire this coming year if I wanted to. And I'm 35, 36. I don't need to take the extra stress of business or teaching people, but I find a lot of value in it, so I'm going to continue doing that for the short term. All right, so there's a lot of people, and the problem is you have a lot of people in this country that get to my stage, but then they don't want to give back. They've made it, and then they retire, they become a recluse, they sit on their compounding investments of, once you go into property, you can start doing some developments. Once you get your income up into the 1, 2, 3 mil, 4 mil range, you start putting that into diversified things like super, and you start buying shares and ETFs or running a family office or things like that. So they get so caught up in what they're doing that they don't want to give back to the majority of the people out there and tell them how they got unlocked, why they got unlocked, and challenging these societal norms that people seem to continue to follow, and then they wonder why they can't get the outcomes in life that they want. So have a real think about where you sit in your life, and if you have the ability of having delayed gratification for 2 to 3 years. Okay, I'm close to the 2.5 year mark, and then coming up to the 3 year mark, and I could honestly say, hand on heart, that I could be retiring right now and fishing around for a 4-year fix next year when fixed rates drop, and I might be on somewhere between 200, 300, maybe 350 grand, depending on how hard I push on my buys over the next 12 months. All right, so I could lock in a 4-year fix. On average, you're making 5% a year growth per year on a portfolio size between 10 to 15 million by the time I finish. You're essentially making yourself invincible. So why wouldn't you take a 4-year fix, retire, put that extra cash flow into other investments, and then just go and become an asset manager? I don't need to run a business anymore. All right, so I hope this gives you a lot of value. I hope it allows you to assess where you are in life, and I hope that this enables you to sit down and challenge what you get told and how you get told. And if you go to the origins of a lot of these things, most of it is just marketing campaigns. I mean, a lot of people think that, like we talk about some other stuff like Santa Claus. How do you think Santa Claus got red and white? It's because of a Coca-Cola marketing campaign. Okay, and people associate Santa and Christmas with the Coca-Cola bottle and the branding. Okay, so many things in this society, are programmed into your head to get their desired result. But if you go back and you unlock yourself and you understand why, and you remove yourself from that system, then it allows you to control how you think and what you do. All right, so hit that like button, hit the comment button, and if you want to book an appointment with me, hit the link in the comments below, and we'll go ahead and do a full assessment on your current position. We'll map out a plan to get you to the end result. We're doing this every day with investors. This is our bread and butter. All right, well, hope you've enjoyed this video. Subscribe to the channel, and we'll see you on the next one. All right, then, bye.